What's up, Wastelanders? How's everybody doing today? I'm doing great, and I hope you are too. It's me, Kiki B, and welcome to a brand new episode of Kiki B Plays Fallout 76. We've got a great video for you today. This one's been requested, and I'm excited to finally get it into your hands. Hopefully this will help you to level up your camp decorating skills and give your builds that little extra something. Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that I've got a brand new Instagram just for you wonderful people, at Kiki B Plays. So go on and give me a follow over there. It's a space to connect with you guys, to answer your questions, and share some of the day-to-day stuff behind the scenes. It's also a really great way for me to be able to address questions where a short video might be a better explanation than a written answer. And of course, don't forget to make sure you're subscribed to this channel and you've turned on notifications so that you don't miss out on the next amazing video, because we both know you don't want that. Now, without any further ado, let's dive in and learn all about merging objects. So first, the basic technique. You're going to want to take the pressure plate, which is under the Power Connectors tab in your build menu. If you don't already have this plan, it's the Advanced Power Connectors plan, which you can get for a little under 200 caps from a robot vendor. And you're going to want to hook this up to either a powered conduit or another powered object. If you hook it directly up to a generator, it doesn't work. Now you're going to place your base object onto it, the one that you're going to be sinking something into, and you just want to make sure that that green light there is lit up all the time. If it goes out, all you have to do then is store the pressure plate, place it again, and hook up the wire again. So now we're going to put the object on top that we want to sink into this one. And all you have to do is select the base object and place it again on the pressure plate. So you're just going to keep selecting, placing like that. And with each click, it's going to sink down in a little bit. Really, really easy. So there's your basic merge. You can also do merges in like multiple parts. So for example, if I wanted to create a sort of new plant to put into my ashtray to turn into a cool planter, I would take two of these plants and stack one on top of the other. Again, make sure that you're always selecting the bottom object. And I probably should have clicked that one like one more click down in, but it's good enough, you get the idea. So now I'm going to go ahead and pick this up by the bottom plant, place it into another ashtray, and do the same thing again of click, click, clicking until it sinks down into the level that I want. So now that you've got the basics down, I want to show you some of my favorite merged objects. These are ones that I use a lot, and you might have seen some of them in my builds before. This combination is a particular favorite of mine. It's what I use to make my kitchen counters. And you're just going to take these two tables, set the taller table on top, make sure you've got it lined up right, and you can blueprint that once you've got it properly aligned if you want to, if you're going to make a bunch of these. And then just sink the top table down. And you might need to lift it up and check that it's at the right level. This one needs one more click. You can see a little gap there between the two. So we'll give it that last click, and now it is perfectly sunk down there, and it makes a perfect kitchen cabinet. Now if you want to make your kitchens even fancier, you can sink objects into the countertop table before you sink them onto the cupboards. So in this case, I'm going to set a cooktop into the counter by using the cooking stove. And you want to set the cooking stove back a little bit because it's got that broken door that sticks out in the front. And if you set it too close to the front of the countertop, it will stick out through your cupboards. So just keep in mind that order of operations, that you're going to sink things basically from the top down when it comes to doing multiple objects. And you can also do this with sinks and other objects in a kitchen. It looks really, really great when it's done. Now, here's another favorite of mine. I've never been a huge fan of the way a lot of the workbenches look, and I like to mix things up a little sometimes. So I've used this one in quite a few builds lately. You can unfortunately only do this with the Tinker's workbench and the Chems bench. So you can't use it on the armor workbench or the weapons workbench. This one I had sunk in too far. It didn't look good. I think with the Chems bench you need to have it sticking up a little bit like that. with the Tinker's Workbench. If you sink it down in low enough like this, it kind of looks like it's like a work mat or something on top of the cabinet, and it looks pretty cool. Now, here's a really utilitarian but very, very cool merge that you can do. We're going to take a small generator. I use this one because it's small and it doesn't make noise or spew smoke. And then you can take this, sink a conduit down into it, wire the conduit, and then you can put this on top of a large stash box. And if you then sink that down in, you've got a sort of portable power box, which you can then place anywhere that you might need some radiating power. And you can also wire an object to it if you need. Now you can do this with most of the large stash boxes. Here are some examples that you can use, things that I've used before. This is by no means a complete list of all the big objects that you can sink a generator into, but you get the idea. Now here's another more utilitarian favorite of mine. I personally hate the scrap box. It's giant, it's ugly, it doesn't come in any other versions, so I like to make it as unobtrusive as possible, and the easiest way to do that is simply by sinking it into a stash box like this. Now, shelves. We've got all these great shelves in the game, and the game makes it impossible to actually just place objects on the shelves. But with merging, you can do this really, really easily. The easiest shelves to do it with are the ones that have shelves that are a uniform distance apart, all the way up through. But you can do it with the other ones as well. You just need to be a little bit more careful about the distance. So with this one, we can actually sink things all the way down so that it looks like we've even got something on the floor underneath the shelf. And then go ahead and put a few things on the top when we're done. And now you've got a cool looking shelf that looks like it could be in a garage or an attic or something like that with a bunch of junk on it. Now these great big store shelves are also really good to do this with. If you have seen my Charleston Super Duper Mart video, this is how I did the shelves in there. And again, because these are a uniform distance apart, it's much, much easier to sink various objects at various heights. If you're using, for example, the white shelves with the glass around them, it's a little trickier. You have to be careful. And there you go. That's how you can fill and decorate your shelves. It really adds a lot, I think, to a camp build and just makes things look more homey and lived in. Now we've got furniture. You've got all these objects that seem like they would be really, really great placed underneath some furniture, underneath a bed or something like that. But there's no normal way to do that. All you've got to do is place it on top and sink it down under like this. You can also do this with the floor safe, which does not work properly if you try to place it on the floor and then put an object on top of it. But again, if you merge it, suddenly you've got a floor safe under your furniture. Okay, now this one is just purely silly, but you can merge some fun stuff into the symptomatics. It's just fun. And no, I have no idea why you would want a snowman in symptomatic, but you know what? I just felt like it. And it's good for a laugh. You can also put like a mannequin in one. In this case, I've dressed one up in a doctory looking outfit. It makes a cute display piece. Now here's a great one. I like the terminals, these terminals, but they are kind of annoying because they do have to be powered in order to work, and it's not always easy to actually hook them up to your main power grid. But a great way to do that is just to merge them into a generator, and then you can sink them, for example, into a metal cabinet like this. And now you've got a sort of, I don't know, science-y lab workspace. You can also sync a terminal into a desk, and it actually looks like a normal terminal on a desk. All right, here's a fun one. And like I said before, these shelves are tricky. And the alignment on this merge is not perfect, but it still looks really good. So here we're going to be making a Nuka-Cola cooler. It looks really, really great. It reminds me of, like, you know, those glass fridges, coolers, whatever, in like supermarkets and gas stations and whatnot. So you're going to take one Nuka-Cola rack and you're going to sink it down in so that the round Nuka-Cola logo thing, the bottom of it is almost at the bottom of that silver bar across the top of the back. And sometimes it's just a bit of trial and error. And then you're going to place the other Nuka-Cola rack on top of that, sink it down in, fill it up with Nuka-Cola. And now you've got a really cool Nuka-Cola cooler that also has the little Nuka-Cola logo up above it like that. Now you can do a similar thing with the pristine Nuka-Cola machine. And you're just going to align this so that the right half of it is directly above the little opening uppy part. And then you want to sink it down in. And if you actually fill the Nuka-Cola rack before you sink it in, it makes it a lot easier. But if you're like me and you didn't think to do that, then you want to click on the vending machine first so that it will open the door. And then you can reach in there and fill up the display rack. If you click it again, it will close the door, and voila, you have got a Nuka-Cola machine with Nuka-Cola in it. Now, here's a great one. I love the little popcorn machine. It's super cute, but I really hate the fact that it has to be hooked up directly to power. Because again, it's one of those things, hooking up powered objects inside a camp is sometimes really, really irritating. So this is one of those that you can merge with a small generator, and then you've got a perfectly portable popcorn machine. So, as they say, if you don't know, now you know. That's all you really need to know about merging. And when it comes to the things that you can combine and create, the sky, or at least the build height of your camp, really is the limit. You can merge just about anything, whether it's homey or utilitarian or just completely silly. So I hope you learned something and got some inspiration for your own builds, and I would love to see some of the stuff you come up with. So do post your creative camp decor on Instagram and tag me at Kiki Plays. I'll also leave the Instagram link down in the description. Now, that's it from me today, folks. As always, take care of yourselves, be good to each other, and I will see you in the next video.